Erling Haaland is just a League Two player. That's exactly what Roy Keane said recently after the Man City drew with Arsenal 0-0. People were criticising Erling Haaland, especially Roy Keane, saying he just isn't at the races. Yeah, he might be a goal scorer, but when it comes to the other parts and the other facets of his game, he just isn't at that world-class ability. But the question is, was Roy Keane right? Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sani-That sports guy talking all things sport, and of course today we're speaking football, we're speaking Man City, and in particular we're speaking Erling Haaland. He scored an incredible 52 goals last season. He's got 29 this season with 18 in the Premier League. Not bad for a supposed League Two striker. But I think there is justification when saying that his general play is pretty poor and does require improvement. Because there are other players in Europe that, yeah, they might score goals, but they bring other aspects to the game that Erling Haaland doesn't really do. Yeah, he has 29 goals, but you kind of would expect that in a Man City team that creates a plethora of chances. And when it comes to its conversion rate, it's dropped to 20%, which, yeah, you might be thinking is not bad, but when you have that many chances in a game, you ought to take most of them. So much so that in the top 5 European leagues, he's missed the most big chances. And when Roy Keane mentioned the fact that he's almost like a League Two player when it comes to his general play, there is some credence to that point. Yeah, we know Haaland's got lightning quick pace, but he doesn't particularly move well with the ball at his feet, and that's underlined by the fact that he's only completed just 13 dribbles in all competitions this season. That's only one more than Ciro Immobile, who's 34. People talk about Haaland's presence, his height and his strength, but the alarming thing is the fact that Ivan Toney, a player who only started playing again in the middle of January after his suspension, has won more headers this season than Haaland, who's only managed a paltry 6. As a striker, one of the things you want to do is hold the ball up well and have successful layoffs. And with that, Haaland only has 22 this season. And yeah, you might be thinking that's not bad for Haaland, but to put that into context, Romelu Lukaku, a player who's been known as having a bad first touch, has had 66 of those layoffs. And from a defensive aspect, you're thinking, he's a striker, he's not there for his defensive aspect. In the modern day, you need a striker that can offer you those defensive capabilities, and even with that, Haaland isn't sufficient enough. He's only won 2 tackles all season and recovered possession for his side on just 44 occasions. For context, Joshua Zirkzee of Bologna has won it 88 times for his team. Of course, we know his goal-scoring ability, but when it comes to his overall touches in the game as well, he's only managed 777 this season. Wout Weghorst has managed more touches at Hoffenheim. So what's to say Haaland can't do that? But at the end of the day, all this conversation is pretty futile, because if he puts the ball in the back of the net, it's irrelevant. And that's what I think this conversation comes down to. If Haaland did score a goal on the weekend against Arsenal, this conversation that I'm having right now and the conversation that Roy Keane had on Super Sunday wouldn't have been had, because people wouldn't have thought about his overall play. All they would have cared about is the goal. Because at the end of the day, the most precious commodity in football are goals. And Haaland does score a boatload of them. Because there are other aspects of the game that are world class. His movement off the ball, his movement within the box is unbelievable. The fact that he managed to find space in acute areas, especially in the packed penalty area, goes to show what an intelligent player he is. And you can't be a League Two player if you're scoring 52 last season and scoring 29 this season. The only problem is you'll get scrutinised when you don't score a goal. His idol Cristiano Ronaldo also had this problem, where sometimes he didn't really score a goal or have an assist that contributed to the game, and people would say that he isn't really a good player. But eventually, when he would score or when he would create an assist for a teammate, all these arguments that people would have would be put to bed, because at the end of the day, you'd have something to produce. And that's the thing that will eventually be the downfall for Haaland. Everybody that criticises him will only do so when he doesn't score a goal or have an assist. But realistically, he's a player that you want in your team, because you'd rather have him in your team than playing against him, because he's Erling Haaland and he's a threat whenever he has the ball, especially in the penalty area. So yeah, his overall play may be of a League Two player, but I tell you what, he's a League Two player you'd rather have in your team than out your team. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I mean, it's an interesting one that Roy Keane started delving into, whether Haaland's overall play is shoddy and is not world class and it's of that League Two quality and caliber. But the thing is, when he's scoring that many goals, you take it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the whole matter. Do you think Roy Keane's being a bit harsh? Do you think Erling Haaland's general play is actually poor and he does need to improve it? Or do you think it's all handbags at this point and it's all irrelevant? I'd love to hear your thoughts as always, so please let me know in the comments below. But as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to smash a like if you haven't already done so, share with your friends and family, and subscribe to Sani-That Sports Guy if you haven't already done so. But as always, guys, until next time,